Hari Om. So, dhyanavastita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginaha. In Gita Dhyanam, it is said that we are able to recognize or realize our own self when the mind goes in the state of meditation. So the whole thing started in the first chapter when Arjuna got confused in the battlefield, and in the second chapter Bhagavan told him that you have to realize, recognize yourself. Not knowing ourselves causes lot of disturbance, and so ultimately we have to recognize ourselves. And that happens not by just studying the books or looking at the mirror, but we have to transcend all the koshas, all the layers which are there around ourselves, and see ourselves by ourselves. Just as if a person is wearing a makeup, then the real face will not be seen. So that person has to remove all the makeup. Then only we will see how the person looks, appears. Similarly, we have a lot of makeup over our real nature, and which has to be not physically removed, but one has to, through awareness, enter within. Awareness is now as though going out away from our own self. So by the process of meditation, we have to enter within and recognize our own self. Pay attention to our own self. Now for this, what is required is knowledge of the self. Because without that proper knowledge, we won't be able to pay attention to the self. So one is knowledge is required, and another the purity and calmness of the mind, control over our mind. Because if the mind is restless, then even if we have knowledge, we won't be able to meditate. So the mind has to be under our control, and the mind should be very pure and calm, peaceful. So for this, we have various sadhanas mentioned in our scriptures. To quieten the mind, to make the mind pure, there are multiple sadhanas, practices mentioned. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan gives a simple technique. He says you begin by performing your duties, fulfilling your responsibilities with an attitude of service. Just bring that attitude in your mind that you are serving God through your all your duties. You are serving God. So when we develop that attitude, our selfishness reduces, our lot of our negative qualities go away, and the mind start becoming more and more pure. Once the mind becomes pure, we develop jidnyasa, a thirst to know what is my nature, who am I. So with this thirst, when we pursue the study of the scriptures with the help of our teacher, then slowly and steadily we come to recognize, realize or understand who am I. Who am I is because it is not very obvious. Obviously we think ourselves to be someone else only. So we need to study the scriptures. Though those scriptures are available, Mahatmas are available, but still the knowledge of the self is not well known. Means people have various types of misunderstanding about the self, about Atma. When we talk about Atma, generally people think some ghost only. कि आत्मा भटकती है वगैरह. So we, even in India, where we have these great scriptures and the origin and great Rishi Munis have lived in this country, but people in general, they have a lot of misunderstanding. So we need to study the scriptures and contemplate and come to understand who am I. Then when we contemplate, when we reflect with the help of various logic which is given in the scriptures, with the help of various techniques of contemplation, we come to the conviction about our own self. First, we know who am I through the scriptures, but then we are convinced beyond all doubt that I am that self which is birthless, which is deathless, which is that pure consciousness, which is pure existence, which is bliss. And once I am convinced, and once I have mastered my mind and developed enough vairagya, detachment, non-attachment to the world around, towards the pleasures of this world, then I become fit for taking the final step, the meditation. So I become yogarud, I have become fit for meditation. So Bhagavan gives the process, he has given the process of meditation, that in a secluded, solitary place, sit alone, free from all distraction, and slowly and steadily bring your mind, think about the self, and then shift your attention to the self. And once your attention has shifted or is focused on the self, then don't initiate any thinking. Shane shaner uparamed buddhya dhriti grahitaya atma sanstam manakritva na kinchidapi chintayet. This, when we practice for a long time, mind may start running here and there. Again, bring the attention of the mind, calm the mind, and focus your attention on the self. So when we practice this for a long time, one gets established in the self, one gains the realization of the self, one gets direct experience of the self knows itself. And one who has gained this experience looks at this world as his own self. The whole world appears as myself, and the whole world appears in me. I am in all, and all are in me. And I am not different from God. So God is in everyone, and everything is in God. So one who has gained this vision, and one who looks at the whole world as his own self, is called is a supreme yogi. Atmopammena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham va yadiva dukkham sa yogi paramo mataha. Such a person is considered as a supreme yogi who has realized his self and looks at this whole world as his own self. Just as we look at our own body as myself, the yogi looks at the whole world as his own self. It appears he is convinced or he has the experience that the whole world is my own self. So this path Bhagavan explained to Arjuna in detail, and he concluded by telling him who is the supreme yogi. Now after listening to this, Arjuna got a doubt, a question in his mind. So he asked this question, verse number 33. Arjuna uvacha yoyam yogastvaya proktaha sammena madhusudana etasyaham na pashyami chanchalatva sthitim stiram yoyam yogastvaya proktaha sammena madhusudana Arjuna watch. Arjuna was listening to Bhagwan very attentively, and simultaneously he was looking within also and trying to apply whatever Bhagwan was telling him to his own self. So as Bhagwan had explained to him that we have to control the mind and make the mind calm, quite peaceful, and then place this mind in the self, after listening to this, Arjuna thought that this is an impossible task. And like Arjuna, many of us, we feel that it's very difficult. It is a very beautiful theory, but actually when we try to practice it, it is almost an impossible task. He says, Yo ayam yogaha tvaya proktaha madhusudhana. Hey Bhagwan Krishna. Bhagwan Krishna's one name, beautiful name is Madhusudan. Madhu was a Rakshasa whom Bhagwan had killed. Madhu also means honey. And symbolically it means the ahankar, which sometimes gives great joy to a person. Therefore he doesn't want to destroy this ahankar, our ego. All the time we are trying to please the ego. And everything we do is to please the ego only. And when the ego is pleased, there is great joy. If somebody praises you, what happens? The ego is pleased. And you feel very happy. Hey, why are you so happy? No, people have finally recognized me. So this ego is so sweet, therefore it is called honey. I mean, ego, huh? So this, but for a spiritual seeker, it is a great obstacle. One has to destroy it. So Bhagwan Krishna is one who has destroyed this madhu, this ego, you can say. Therefore he is called Madhusudan. So Arjuna is addressing Bhagwan that you are someone great, you are unique, you have destroyed this ego and you have by controlling your mind. But as far as I am concerned, I think it is very difficult. This yoga which you have explained, and what yoga? Samyena, the yoga of samatha, the yoga of equanimity. The path is also a path of equanimity, and one who attains the goal also attains the state of equanimity. He sees the same truth everywhere. So the path also is like to make the mind more and more calm, peaceful, equanimous. So this yoga, Arjuna names it as Samya Yoga, Samyena Madhusudana, Etasyaham na pashyami chanchalatvat stitim stiram. That this yoga is great, but I don't see the stability in this yoga. For a fraction of a second, one may experience this. And when we practice, when we meditate or we do our sadhana, for a fraction of a second, one may experience great calmness and great peace. After practicing for a long time, we may get a glimpse of that quietude. Sometimes it takes days together, months together, and we might experience a glimpse of that quietude. So, but that sthiti, that stability in that quietude is very difficult. So Arjuna said that I don't see stability in this. Why? Because there is some fundamental defect. What is that? He says that mind by nature is chanchal. Mind by nature is restless. So if the mind by nature is restless, to say that quieten the mind, make the mind absolutely still, and then you will know the self, that seems to be impossible. It is like someone saying that this ocean is there. You just quieten the waves, let the waves, let the water be absolutely still, and then you will be able to see the bottom. You will see the base from where all the water is arising. But that is impossible. How can we stop the waves? They are constantly there. And even if you try to stop them superficially, they are generated from within. There are ocean currents which generate these waves. It is not generated just by breeze, but internally also a lot of currents are there which generates these waves. Sometimes you have tsunamis and all. So similarly, this our mind is like a vast ocean, and the wavering of the mind is like the waves, and constantly the waves are coming. Constantly thoughts are coming and moving and going from one object to another. We cannot remain steady. It's not possible. Even during pravachan, actually we get distracted immediately. Somebody walks in, somebody mobile rings or something happens. We can't just keep our attention at one point. It naturally moves. Because of whatever reason, it's a natural tendency of the mind to become distracted. It is not exactly getting distracted, but it is paying attention to something else. Maybe because of our past impressions of what we call seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. That is the favorite pastime of all beings, that all beings are seeking pleasure and avoiding pain or avoiding death. We want to secure our own body, and after securing our body, we want to experience certain pleasures also. So there is a what you call survival instinct, and also there is a instinct to seek pleasure. So therefore, this mind which has come not only from a human body, but we have experienced so many other bodies also in the past. So the mind tends to remain alert and awake for all situations. Like anytime danger might come, so we should be able to defend ourselves. So our past impressions have made the mind little chanchal only, restless. It can't remain at one point, because to remain at one point, the mind should be totally free from all distraction, free from all fears. Fears sometimes make us see here and there. See, even an animal or bird which is fearless will be focused on what it is eating and all. But when there is fear, it will look here and there. Even a deer, when it is grazing peacefully, it is just focusing on the grass. But when there is a call, when it hears the tiger or something, then suddenly it becomes more alert, looks here and there. So by nature, our mind is little chanchal. Therefore, restless. Therefore, this state of meditation is not possible, Bhagwan. Our Arjuna says to Bhagwan that it is not possible. So I like your theory, it is wonderful, but I don't think it is possible. It's like somebody telling us some impossible thing, that if you have this problem, then you take this fruit of the tree which grows in the sky up. Such a tree is not there. So such a fruit also you will not find. So this theory or this solution is not good. So similarly, here from his own standpoint, Arjuna, not that he doubted Bhagwan, not that he considered it totally impossible, but he considered that it is little difficult. I feel it is difficult for me. So when he spoke this, Bhagwan did not say anything. So Arjuna now explains exactly what is the nature of mind and why it is difficult. Beautiful words which talks about not only Arjuna's mind but everyone's mind. So let us see. Chanchalam himana Krishna Pramathi balavadridham Tasyaham nigraham manne Vayoriva sudushkaram Chanchalam himana Krishna Pramathi balavadridham. Chanchalam hi manak Krishna. Hey Krishna, this manaha, this mind is chanchalam, restless, pramathi, very turbulent, balavat, very strong, and dhridam has got tremendous stamina, staying power. Tasyaham nigraham manne. To control this mind, I consider it as difficult as controlling Vayu. Vayu river sudushkaram, as difficult as controlling Vayu, breeze, wind. It's not possible to catch hold of this Vayu. From where it will move, we don't know. We can't confine it into a small place. It has got tremendous power. Sometimes this tornado and all, it comes and lifts everything on the way. So it's very, very powerful. In the same way, he says this mind is also very, very powerful, difficult to control. So let us try to understand this mind before we go to the solution which Bhagavan gives. We have to understand our mind. Mind is actually most beautiful instrument. Mind is, as in this, it is said in the scripture, that mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. Mind causes the bondage and mind helps us to become free also. As our mind, so is our experience in this world. If the mind is happy, we are happy. If the mind is sad, we are sad. If we can take care of the mind properly, we can take care of ourselves. In fact, our mind not only influences our body, it influences our body. Most of our disease and most of our problem in the body, they say, arises from the mind. Some of the diseases are actually, they are just psychosomatic. They are born from the mind only. And if we change our thinking, if we are able to change our feelings, if we are able to change our attitude, the disease also is rectified. We regain our health. So mind is a most fascinating equipment, and it not only influences our body, but our mind also influences the environment around us. It's so powerful that one person's mind can influence other person's mind also. Now all of you are sitting here and listening to me. In a way, my mind is influencing your mind, whether you like it or not. Sometimes we influence by, influence means affecting in positive, negative, whatever way. Sometimes we influence by speaking or through our action. But even the very presence of a person can influence the other mind, because all our minds are connected. Just like internet, our mind is also connected. We have our own individual mind, but it is also connected to all the minds. First of all, we are very intensely connected to people in our own immediate surrounding, like our own family members. We are connected to our own friends and relatives and all, and the place in which we live. the mind of each and every person is very intensely connected, not only of the present time but also of the past. We have a pressure of tradition on our mind. We have pressure of whatever good and bad things the past generation had done, that also influences our mind. Mind has got tremendous pressure of the past. It cannot just come out of it very easily. It's very powerful. Then whatever education we get, whatever training we give to the mind, whatever samskar we put on the mind, that also influences the mind. Our name, the food which we eat, the place in which we stay, the language which we speak, English, Sanskrit, Hindi, Marathi, the language which we speak, and the type of company we keep, the type of books we read, the type of programs we watch on television and everything influences the mind and develops the unique quality of our mind. So this mind is not just a thing. When a person dies, the mind doesn't die. The mind is still there. The self doesn't die. The mind doesn't die. The body falls down. Body also actually gets disintegrated. It is made up of the 5 elements. The body gets disintegrated, but the mind is still there. That mind creates for itself or occupies another body which is conducive to its desires, for its expression, to express its desires. It catches hold of another equipment to express its desire. So the mind doesn't die. It is there all the time. It keeps on changing, it keeps on modifying, but the essential characteristic of the mind remains. So it's a very powerful equipment which has to be understood very deeply, and if we know how to handle it, then our life will become more fulfilling. We may have great education, we may have great degrees and all, but if we have not understood our mind, we have not understood anything. As Swami Vivekananda used to say, that if we can only conquer our mind, we have conquered the whole world. But one who has not conquered his mind, even if he conquers the world, he has not conquered anything. So this is very important that we understand the mind. On the face of it, what Arjuna said is very much applicable to our mind. First of all, mind is very chanchal. Chanchal means it cannot think of only one object at a time. It keeps on jumping from one topic to another topic. See, mind is made up of thoughts, and every thought has got some object. Mind is also made up of emotions. So thoughts and emotions, mind also thinks in form of pictures, in the form of ideas. Mind also thinks in form of colors and taste and sound and all. Sometimes we get some fragrance and we remember the fragrance of the past. So the impressions of fragrance, impressions of sight and taste and everything is there in our mind.